I'm going to apologise in advance for speaking in English, but since I know from past experience that most Danes speak better English than we do, I think we'll be alright. My name is Neil McCormick, as said, and I'm a music writer and an author and sometimes even a musician. So I've been to festivals and industry events all around the world, and I know from experience that Spot is quite unique. In fact, the name strikes me as being slightly wrong. I think it should be called SPOTless, because it is quite honestly the cleanest, the most well-behaved music event I've ever been at in my life. I said this to a Danish journalist last time I was here, and he took it as an insult. He said, "I suppose you think that rock and roll should be dirty and sleazy." But I like it. You get the impression that if a Danish band wrecked a hotel room, they'd tidy up after them. But what we're all here for is music. And I'm no expert on Danish music. Before I came here last year, I could probably name a handful of Danish bands, and one of them would have been Akbar. So it was an eye-opening experience for me. It was like being in an alternative universe, where every time you open the door, you walk in and you see a band that you've never heard of before playing perfect music in a particular genre or another genre, and it was just like a whole different world of music, all in Danish. So I didn't understand. Actually, people sing in English as well, and they do that a lot better than a lot of English bands. And the fact that I'd never heard of these local stars, it started to become a slight sore point with some of them. The big question that I was asked last year, time and time again, was can Danish and other Nordic, Northern European bands make it in the US and the UK, which are still seen as the prime markets in pop culture? And it's a very difficult question. There's a lot of snobbery in the music business in the UK. There's still a slightly patronising attitude is adopted to anything from outside of those markets. And memories of Johnny Halliday and Plastic Bertrand and Europe, the rock band, not the continent, are evoked to suggest that non-native English speakers just don't get it. And I think for a foreign act to make an impression in those markets, it's not enough to be as good as British and American bands, which clearly the bands from around here are, and the artists from around here. It's not enough to be as good. You actually have to be quantifiably and undeniably better. But I have a bigger question. Do you really need to make it in the UK and the USA? The internet has had a very strange effect on the consumption of music around the world. Local markets are flourishing. There was a fear at the start of the internet and the way it was changing the music business. A fear and perhaps even a desire from the big record companies that the internet might create one homogeneous, global omniculture, a sort of Big Mac of music. But the opposite is happening. People seem to have a desire to connect more with their own culture. And that's come at the expense of international stars. We see this all over the world. And a few years ago, the charts in Denmark, and like the rest of Europe, would have been dominated by American and British artists. And now they're mostly Danish and Nordic artists. And home is a good place to start for any artist. Even if a lot of people are never going to be satisfied creatively or maybe financially being a big fish in a small pond. But actually, I would say the pond has never been bigger. And it's not a pond at all anymore. It's the sea, and we're all in it. And we're swimming for our lives. Because there's something going on right now in the music business that everyone in the music business knows in their hearts. The major record companies are still doing their best to deny it. And that it's over. The mass market music business, as we have known it for the last 50 to 100 years, is coming to an end. And personally, I think that's a good thing. Because music is far too important for us as human beings to be left to professionals. There's a new world order, and it's a world without frontiers. And it's a world of blogs and Twitter and MySpace and YouTube and whatever else the internet throws up. And it's a world where musicians sell more t-shirts than they do sell CDs. And I don't know how you make money in this brave new world, and nobody does for sure. But frankly, as a music fan and as a consumer, that's not my problem. It's not our problem. It's a tremendously exciting time to be a fan and consumer of music, because it's a land of opportunity and everything's up for grabs. And there's absolutely no reason why Danish and Swedish and Norwegian and Finnish and Icelandic bands shouldn't be grabbing as much as anyone else. But I would reiterate one thing, and it's something that I say when I'm asked by artists from London to New York. There's a lot of music out there, and it's no use being as good as anybody else. You've got to be better. You need to be more extreme, more passionate, more innovative, just more anything. And so that's my fervent hope for these times and this festival, is to hear music that moves me, and to hear sounds that blow my mind, and to seek out strange new civilizations, and to boldly go, no wait a minute, that's Star Trek. I hope that with the financial destruction of the music industry, and the capacity to make music by anybody for very little money on computers, we're going to see a big change. You know, a tape machine that you use to record music, a studio tape machine, used to cost, about 20 years ago, the same as a house. And now you can have the tape machine, you can have the mixing desk, you can have the whole lot on your computer for very little money. Any kid can afford it. And my hope is that as the amount of money that can be pulled out of the system falls, and the amount of money that it takes to get into the system falls, then people are going to start making really radical, self-expressing music with no hope of it selling masses to make fortunes in royalties. It's going to be selfish music, and with that selfish drive is going to come a complete opening of the barriers, and new sounds hitherto undreamed of are going to appear, and I want that to happen, and I hope it happens here. I hope we all see and hear music that inspires us. So to musicians and to audiences, I wish you all a good spot.